Gentlemen, in this video I would like to revisit the fantastic film My Thai Bride and try to come up with a model that describes in more detail the game and what's going on with us Westerners when we come to Thailand, and a new model for how we can tilt the playing field firmly in our favour and how we can become wealthy whilst helping the Thais get what they really want from us, our money. The film My Thai Bride can be summed up relatively quickly. Number one, middle-aged divorced Westerner comes to Thailand to do business. 2, he spends time in red light areas, revels in the freedom on offer. 3, meets a bar girl that he really likes and starts spending a lot of time with her. 4, starts living with the bar girl, loses his freedom here. 5, marries the bar girl and gives the bar girl control of his money, where he loses financial independence about now. 6, bar girl uses his money to buy a house on land in her name and start a pig farm. The bar girl gains financial independence here at the foreigner's expense. 7, the foreigner's money starts running out. 8, bar girl stops associating with foreigner due to not being able to derive a benefit from the association. Bruford's law is triggered. 9, foreigners is now bored of life on the farm. Relationship problems caused by lack of money cause breakdown in relationship. 10, foreigner leaves Thailand, returns home to the Western world, destitute. End result, Thai bar girl gets rich at foreigner's expense. Foreigner loses everything, loses 100% of the money he put in. What were the roles of the two participants in this story? Ted's role was resource provider. His role was to give Tip money. Ted was the buyer. Tip's role was resource receiver. Her role was to offer sex and companionship in return for money. Tip was the seller. The playing field was Thailand. Now, this playing field is rigged firmly in favour of the sellers, the Thai people. The playing field is set up specifically to advantage the Thais at the expense of the foreigner. This fact, together with the fact that cross-cultural relationships are very high risk, means us foreigners are participants in a very high-risk game. So what can we foreigners do to help level the playing field? Is there a way that we can get the Thais perhaps into our own country and playing the game on our playing field? Is there a way in which we can step out of our role as resource providers and become the sellers, the resource receivers? Could we set up a system to get the Thais working and making money for us? How could we set up something like this? And where should we set it up? In Thailand or in the Western world? Before I go any further, I want you to imagine a scenario of a hypothetical film I will call My Western Husband. It goes like this. Number 1, middle-aged, wealthy, divorced Thai woman comes to Australia to escape Thailand. 2, she spends time in dive bars and seedy nightclubs. 3, meets an average Australian man that she really likes and starts spending a lot of time with him. 4, starts living with this average man. She loses her freedom here. 5, gives average man control of her money. This is where she loses her financial independence. 6, wealthy Thai woman marries average Australian man. 7, wealthy Thai woman uses her money to buy a house on land in Australia. Wealthy Thai woman's money starts running out. 8, average man stops associating with Thai woman. 9, relationship breaks down, divorce ensures. 50-50 split of marital assets occurs. 10, wealthy Thai woman leaves Australia, returns home to Thailand, destitute. End result, average man gets rich at wealthy Thai woman's expense. Thai woman loses at least 50% of her money. Now, we all know that we'll never hear nor see the film My Western Husband. And that's because this type of scenario will never happen. It will never happen for a few reasons. Firstly, women marry up and will never marry a man who is poorer than themselves. Secondly, a wealthy Thai woman would almost certainly never marry a poor foreign man, except in very exceptional circumstances. Thirdly, a woman's end goal is security, and a woman will not give up security or give it to a man, except in very exceptional circumstances. So we know that the Thais are interested in our money. We know that they've created a playing field that benefits themselves at our expense. We know the laws, the system, and the people in Thailand are all out to make money from us, foreign men. We know that our role is resource provider when we're in Thailand. The odds are we will not get a wealthy Thai woman on our own home playing field and will not get wealthy at a Thai woman's expense. No matter which way I cut it, I can't see a way to win the game in Thailand long term. As much as I would love to see it, I just can't. I can, however, see a way to create our own game, right here in the Western world, on our own playing field. I can see a way to create a game and to win it. And here's my system. Firstly, buy a small industrial property on land in a built-up area. Secondly, apply for a permit to create a brothel. Thirdly, convert the internals of the property into self-contained studio apartments or bedrooms. Fourth, bring the Thai women or Thai ladyboys from Thailand and have them work in my brothel. End result, we Westerners get rich and the Thai women or the ladyboys also make a lot of money. We get rich due to the very low supply of Thais in the Western world, the extraordinarily high demand for them from us Western men, and the fact that our Western world wages are much higher, so we can charge high prices to our clients at our brothel. By doing this, we have changed the game. The Thais are now on our turf, our playing field. They are now playing our game. Their role is still the same, resource receiver, but they're doing it on our turf, and they're also doing it for our benefit. Let's get down to brass tacks, shall we, gentlemen? The Thais we associate with in Thailand are all from the working classes. What they have to offer is their youth and beauty, and they do this in exchange for our money. That's all they have to offer us, their sex and their companionship. The problem is we are always the buyers. We're always the resource providers. Really, what we need to do long term is to become the sellers, the resource receivers. If we can do this, we can make money instead of losing it, and we can help the Thais gain what they really want from us, our money, in a more efficient manner. I see no other way to tilt the playing field in our favour other than staying in the Western world and putting the Thais in service to us. To put them in our employ and making money for us. Doing anything else is too high risk in my opinion. I know how that sounds as well, right? I'm saying starting a brothel in the Western world is lower risk than living in Thailand full time. Well, it's the way that I see it. If we stay in Thailand full time, we'll be spending money instead of making it, getting involved in situations where we have no security, earning much lower wages as either teachers, bar owners, and the like, shaking up with a working class Thai, and therefore that Thai foregoes the opportunity cost of earning a lot more money from working in the naughty nightlife, or providing financial security to the Thais at our expense. I believe what's happening to us Western men in Thailand is our sex drive is clouding our reasoning. Our sex drives and our desire for youth and beauty in women or in ladyboys gets us into a type of hostage situation, and we can become stuck in Thailand. We can lose our freedom. The Thais gain their freedom on their playing field at our expense. We essentially trade places. We pay out money and the Thais get richer at our expense. We can't achieve real security in Thailand as we're unable to own land. The cross-cultural issues encountered in our relationships with the Thais are high risk and put us in a constant state of insecurity. As our relationships with them change over time and mature, we can become complacent and indifference can start to happen. And then we're at high risk of losing everything we've invested in Thailand. The biggest risks I see to our freedom in Thailand are buying a house on land in your bar girl's name, buying property in Thailand, living with a Thai, starting a business with a Thai, giving a Thai control over your finances, providing security for a Thai at your expense. I ask these questions, gentlemen. Firstly, is security more important than love? Certainly seems to be so for the Thai women. It was for Tip. Remember what she said, I cannot eat your love. Secondly, is security more important than freedom? Well, for the Thai women, yes, absolutely. For us men, no. We give up security and we give up our freedom to women in order to gain love. Well, what about our security? What about our freedom? We go to Thailand in the first place because we want freedom, but we can lose that so easily. The very freedom we seek, we lose. We have to keep in mind the consequences if we fail in Thailand. We lose a lot of our time, our effort, and our money. Thailand is a very high-risk place for us foreigners. We don't have the hometown advantage. I believe the solution for me, and this is for me personally, it's probably not going to be your solution, but the solution for me in terms of a future business is to start a ladyboy brothel here in Australia. That's a way that I can achieve economic success, property ownership in my own name, and have the Thais working for me as resource providers for my benefit, on my own turf, in my own country. The odds of winning this game are tilted firmly in my favour. Starting a ladyboy brothel here in Australia, I can bring the Thailand experience here, and I can be a winner of the game. My trips to Thailand will then be about business and pleasure. I would have the Thailand experience here in the West, running my business, and the personal Thailand experiences when I'm over in Pattaya. I could always bring one of the ladyboys here to Australia as well. I wouldn't have them work in my brothel, of course, but I could do it. We all know the risks, however, that entails. Now, prostitution is legal in Australia. I'd be setting up a legitimate business. It'd be run well and it'd be run professionally. See, I want my freedom. I also want security. And this is the solution I see for me in my life. I'll continue to play the Thailand game, but I want to see if I can become a seller in it as well. I've seen the advantages and the disadvantages of owning a bar in Thailand. I see my solution as bringing that little bit of Thailand back home here to the West. I'm sure this will make my future clients very happy in between their regular Thailand visits. And that's that, gentlemen.